Let's go.
You've been waiting for 15 minutes. Of course you're ready. All right, let's go. All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Drinking in Kamurocho podcast episode 2. And joining me today is my co-host King Narakami45. How are you doing, man?
I am good, man. Drinking Kamurocho episode 2. We're gonna have a good time tonight. I got my little drinky drink right here. We always like to start this off, all the one episodes that we've had by saying what we're drinking. And tonight I've got my Fireball and Wild Cherry Pepsi Zero. What do you got, David?
Yes, sir. Still on tonic.
As always.
Can't go wrong.
As is tradition.
For real. Now, today we're all about Lost Judgment. Before we keep going, though, you guys in the chat, if anyone is willing to let us know how everything sounds, that would be great. There was some little technical issues, as always. So that's why we're a little late. So please let us know how everything sounds. So today, all about Lost Judgment, our impressions, kind of a review as well, just discussing things, side content, main content, characters, music, all that good stuff, gameplay. There's a lot that we have to talk about for sure. I finished the game. I did finish it on last Monday. You did a while back though, didn't you?
Yes, I finished it right before SMT5 released.
Very, very nice. So I think we'll have a lot to say. But before that, we have an anniversary to celebrate today, don't we?
Yeah. Yes, and it's not the anniversary of us becoming a couple, David. It is actually the 18th anniversary of the Yakuza series in Japan, as Yakuza 1 released on December 8th, 2005. So happy 18th anniversary to the Ryoga Gotoku series. They've come a really, really long way, wouldn't you say, David?
100%, man. So many good games along the way. Man, just fantastic.
So many good
series,
memories.
Everything they do, yeah, for real, man. I'm super grateful for RGG Studio and everything that they made. It's just that good. It's that good.
They're probably my favorite studio right now. Honestly.
Totally. I mean, they don't do anything shitty, unlike another developer that we really, really like, Atlas. Everything that they touch is good. Everything that RGG touches is good. So, shout out to Kugan. Thank you for being here, Kugan. We really appreciate you, man. Can you let us know how everything sounds? We're doing great. Thank you for asking. How are you, man? Shouts H2DK as well. Thanks for being here, mate.
So, another thing we wanted to discuss before we got into our quote-unquote review of Lost Judgment, before we just randomly babble about it the entire time, we wanted to mention something that's kind of interesting. So, for the 18th anniversary of the Yakuza series, it was RGG Studios that actually did a live stream of the game.
Yeah.
So, wait, 18th. It released 2005, 16th anniversary. I'm a dumbass. Fuck. The drink's already kicking in. So they did a live stream, a 24-hour live stream of Ryoga Gotoku Kenzan. Now, if y'all know what Kenzan is, it is the game hasn't been released in the West, so it's not surprising if you haven't heard about it, but it's basically kind of like a samurai swordsman game featuring the Yakuza characters set way back in time. So I find it interesting that they were broadcasting PS3 gameplay of a game on the Yakuza anniversary. It might be nothing, but don't you find that weird as well, David?
I mean, you just messaged me, I think, was it yesterday or Monday? You just said, like, hey, RGG, they're streaming Kenzan. I was like, huh? What the hell? Why? And I don't know about you, man, but I've been predicting Kenzan and the other game, the Ishin, yeah. I've been predicting those two games. I think they're going to get localized at some point, because when they initially released, they were smaller titles. The whole series was pretty niche, actually. And it blew up with Yakuza 0, of course, which is a fantastic thing. The best thing that ever happened to RGG, I think. And I think that now, with the popularity of the series, I do think they're going to want to put just a little bit of money to localize the games. Maybe just remaster them, put them on modern platforms, PS4, Xbox, and Steam. I think that'd be really cool. And just like Kugan says, I wouldn't mind. That'd be dope.
Uh, back in the day, they said that the reason that they didn't localize the games in the first place is because they didn't think the Western audience would understand or enjoy it. But you have games like Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, you have Ghost of Tsushima. I think it's been pretty prevalent now that this is the best time to remaster these games if they wanted to release them in the West. Just
Totally.
You don't even have to do like a Kiwami thing like they did for Yakuza 1 and 2 because Kenzin was made for PS3 and Ishin was a PS4 game technically.
Totally.
Technically also a PS3 game because it released on PS3. But all they gotta do is port them. Just remaster them, quote unquote, like they did with Yakuza 3, 4, and 5. Release it and that's put in a $60 put in a $60 package and they'll make money off of that.
Exactly. Or you just release them further away, one of them, and you just make them like $30 each, for example. I think that work as well. But I'm here for it. That'd be great. And as you mentioned, there's other games on the market that are doing great in that similar setting and tone. So I really do think it has potential. I'm here for it. Day one purchases for both of them if they really do happen. But we just have no evidence. It's just that particular stream that we thought was interesting, to say the least.
We're just dumbasses with the actual expectations.
Yeah,
here,
totally.
guys.
We absolutely are, for sure. One thing that is interesting to bring up, I feel, it's the fact that I think they want to port those games. Do you know why?
I do remember back in February, the director of the games, or was it Nagoshi, saying that he wanted to bring the games here to the West.
Okay.
I don't know exactly why, but
Okay,
is there a reason why?
That's an intelligent response. That's not what I was looking for. Do you know why? They should bring those games to the West in particular. If you don't, it's fine. I'm gonna let you know why.
Oh god, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, because I want to fucking play it, and I would spend $60 on each game alone.
Okay, well,
but what is your reasoning?
What the real reason why those games should get localized? It's because right now, the current best spin-off in the Yakuza series is Dead Souls. And that's an issue. So for that simple reason, they should bring him. Again, I had fun with Dead Souls. It's a bunch of characters that I like running around like freaking robots shooting zombies with broken controls. So it's perfectly fine. I don't mind freaking Dead Souls. But still, it should happen. Shouts Prestige Gaming Station for tuning in for the stream. Really appreciate you being here, saying Nakoshi will forever be a legend. Again, Yes, he made a lot of very, very good things. I do think as a person, though, and I don't mean that in any disrespectful way, he really has some weird takes at times. One of them that comes to mind is like Kiryu couldn't get in Smash Brothers because he doesn't punch women. It's like, okay, I understand what you mean, and like the values and feelings behind that statement are great, and I fully endorse that. But at the same time, it's a game, and it's a video game. You can play as Mario and punch Zelda in Smash. So would it be a problem if Kiryu punched Princess Peach in Smash? Like, just certain takes like this was a little bit weird with him. But again, a genius overall with his ideas and his creative side of things. He's great, and I never will disrespect his legacy for sure.
No, not at all. He's a genius.
Totally.
1000%.
Should we get into Lost Judgment now?
Let's get all into that shit.
All right, because I have a lot to say. I know we did message each other a little bit during our playthroughs, but we didn't talk about it more than that. So I'm excited, man. Should be really fun. Thank you all for being here. We really appreciate every single one of you. Shouts Joseph for being here as well. Let's start with Joseph's message, actually. Best narrative. That was an official prize that the game got during the Demon Appreciation Awards 2021 last week. Indeed, it's both our favorite story of the year, and it's easily my favorite story of the year. Like, it's not even close. There's nothing's even close to it.
1000%. 1000%. It covers all the right. It hits all the right notes, honestly, and it's just such a dark. It can be dark at times, but such a personal tale. There were twisted turns. It was just so good. Yep. So congratulations, Lost Judgment, for winning an award this year from us.
Totally. Just before we keep going, because I'm about to dive straight in. Spoilers warning. I know it's all in caps in the title, so I'm sure you didn't miss it. But if you did, spoilers warning at this point. Just leave if you don't want to be spoiled. Thanks for tuning in for the first few minutes. But we have spoilers to talk about. So, what happens in Lost Judgment is, as you mentioned, really, really dark. And I did mention you, or I think we did. Yeah, we both were on a video previously on the channel talking about reviews, when official reviews from media outlets came out. And we read a couple of reviews, and the game lost a lot of points for being dark, for being too dark. What are your thoughts on this?
It lost points for covering certain aspects and people not being like okay with that side of the story. Like, for example, like we said, spoilers. During the story, someone actually fakes getting molested on the train, basically getting touched and everything. This woman fakes she did it in order to cover up a story for somebody. So a lot of people had problems with that, saying that it puts like victims, that it like puts victims of these actual cases in a bad spot. But at the same time, I'm like, it's still a good story. At the end of the day, it was full of twists and turns, and that was just to sell. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that every victim's wrong or everything. You should believe victims first off. But I don't think that has any indication. It shouldn't lose points for that, because at the end of the day, the story was told very well. That's just my take on it. What do you think, David?
I agree, man, 100%. And at the end of the day, it's a video game, and there's a lot of games, mature rated games like Lost Judgment, to tackle some very important life subject. As you mentioned, those type of situations, they're nothing fun. They're nothing great in general, and it's normal that it triggers certain reactions for some people. But I believe, and I firmly believe, I thought about that after we made this video, and I'm like, I don't believe you should take out some points off a review for it tackling some subjects that you personally feel shouldn't be in a video game. So that's my personal opinion. I really enjoyed how separate from the Yakuza the story is. It's like, of course, there's there's arcade and all that stuff. There's Yakuza and there's gangs and all. There's ex-dojo and all in the game, but the story isn't focused on Yakuza. It really isn't as focused as the first Judgment was, and I really enjoyed that. Just overall, the story was really, really well toned, in my opinion. There's a lot of massive surprises. I know I messaged you when our girl Sawa Sensei, when she died.
Rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace. Because
gone, but definitely not forgotten. I think about her a lot at night.
I think about those feats every day. So I mean, just all the characters are well written. The characters that I previously adored, like Yagami, Segura. Freaking Kaito's so great, man. Like, they just gave them just more of what we adored in the first game, and man, I cannot wait for the Kaito files to do the DLC next year. It's gonna be dope.
And might I say, before we get further into it, I think Lost Judgment took everything that was great about the first Judgment and fixed certain aspects that were kind of done in a wrong way in the first Judgment and improved them on them even more. And to me, it's like the perfect culmination of them learning from the first game and applying it all to a sequel, which made, in my opinion, the sequel miles ahead of the... I'm not saying the original Judgment's bad. It's also been a few years since I played it, because I haven't played the PS5 version. I played it when it first released on PS4 years ago. But I think it's so much better. Do you think this is a better game than the first Judgment?
I'm very glad you brought this up. Now, unlike you, I did play the PS5 version of Judgment earlier this year when it came out to completion. So I did everything in the game. I wouldn't say that it's an improvement in every aspect. It is in multiple aspects. I do have a preference for Lost Judgment's story. I think it did some very, very good things. Some things that I really adored. As I mentioned, just the general setting, it being a little further away from the Yakuza standard settings. I think that was great. So I really enjoyed that. The story, I'd say, is better. Now, if you've been following this channel since we started, and I know you definitely know, I'm all about sub-stories in the Yakuza games. They're like my thing. I adore them. When there's a little blue icon on the map, I'm heading straight up there. That's one of my favorite things. Judgment made me cry. It was so funny at times with some of the sub-stories, sub-quests. They're just so great. And honestly, there's some good sub-quests in Lost Judgment, but none of them are that great. Like, the best sub-quests are like 7.5, 8 out of 10 out of just the general Yakuza games in general. Judgment possibly has my favorite subquests of all the RGG games. So in that regards, in terms of the sub stories, it's a considerable step down, in my opinion.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I didn't play a lot of the sub stories. I go into these games for the main story. I do some sub stuff. What do you think is the biggest sub story that I play through the most, David?
In all the games, or just that one?
And Lost Judgment, what do you think is the most, like, my favorite mini game?
Oh, your favorite minigame? Well, that's the Dance Club.
And sub story, including its own sub story.
The Dance Club, which has a very solid sub story too. So the minigame was fun. The songs are great as well. I enjoyed it. I really did. And to be honest, that credits to P4D, because I never played a rhythm game before, and when there used to be rhythm mini games in some of my favorite games, I'd skip them most of the time. But I didn't for Lost Judgment because the story of the Dance Club was great, but also because I did find enjoyment in the rhythm game too. So very solid.
Now, I want to get into actual gameplay and stuff, if you don't mind, and I want to tell everyone what I think is most improved in Lost Judgments. And I think you know where I'm going with this, David. The tailing missions are so much better in Lost Judgment. They don't take forever. In the first Judgments, those things were very linear. If someone turned around, you hid behind the car. That was it, and you just waited. And those missions could go on for 20 minutes at a time.
Too long,
yeah. Way too long. In Lost Judgments, you can get on your phone. You can like look around the sky or something. Pretend like to be a total dumbass. The missions weren't as long. In fact, it throws you into a tailing mission at first, which I was like, oh my god, they're really throwing me into this first. But then I saw the improvements made on it. I'm like, oh my god, this is so much better. What did you think about the tailing missions?
Man, I do remember you saying exactly that when we did a video on during the first Drinking in Kamurocho podcast when we talked the demo impressions. I remember you saying that. And to be honest, I thought the tailing missions in the base Judgment were a little too long, but I didn't mind the simple gameplay of them. You did. So I'm glad they fixed that for you. I personally enjoyed them a little more in Lost Judgment as well, because I thought they were paced more appropriately. There's not a lot of them either. There was a lot.
Which is the beautiful thing about it. They improved on it because it was easily my least favorite aspect of the first game.
Okay, yeah.
Because they hit you with a lot of those in the first game, from what I remember.
Yeah.
You're the one that played it more recently, so maybe you can. But
I agree.
You're
right. Yeah.
They hit you with a lot of those. But to me, it didn't feel like a chore this time around because it felt like a huge chore in the first game. So I appreciate that aspect of it as well.
For real. You know what was a used chore? What was a used chore to me in Last Judgment?
What's that?
The parkour. I thought that was like super boring and like so useless. I got vibes from the Shinra Tower in FF7 Remake. I was like, this is just pure boring parkour. I'm like, it's cool, the animations are great and all, and it's fun to explore areas that you just can't explore in standard Yakuza games. But when they revealed that in the trailers, we live react to the trailer ourselves last summer, and we were like, man, let's go, it's gonna be so cool. But playing them,
underwhelming.
God,
underwhelming,
really,
and especially the platforming sections where you're climbing stuff.
That's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. There was, oh my god, so long. Near the end game, there's some sections where you have to climb like really high up, dude. just boring in general. Was there anything that you think is something new in Lost Judgment that wasn't in the first game that you just didn't enjoy at all?
I don't remember a lot of the stealth missions in the first Judgments where you had to sneak behind somebody and take them down. You know what I'm saying? In Lost Judgment. Was there a lot of that in the first game? Because I don't really recall.
Well, there was a couple. Not a lot of them. And I do remember the ones where you have to... There was a lot of them in the sub-stories. The ones where you have to, like... take a photo at the right time of a specific event, like this one dude cheating against his girlfriend. You have to like tell him and then take the picture at the exact right moment. And those were fun, in my opinion. It gave a little spice on the regular telling mission. So I thought they were
well,
great.
well, those are fine, but I'm talking about like when you have to like crouch down and get behind somebody and take them down, choke them out. That didn't feel organic to me because all you did was, oh, I'm going to go to this spot that's clearly marked right here, throw a coin, and then choke them out with a triangle.
Totally scripted. Again, that felt useless, in my opinion.
They could have done so much better with it. I'm not saying you have to go like Batman Arkham on them or anything.
You don't. It's just, it feels like a good idea that isn't exploited to the fullest.
Yes.
They just have their structure and they leave it at that. And it works. Again, we're not dissing it. It's not broken or anything. It's just not special either. You're just, okay, I have to do that and then we'll move on. It's unmemorable.
Like, how many times do I gotta throw a fucking coin?
Exactly. And it's always what you have to do. Always. And at one time, I tried on it. There was this exact scenario where you have to go behind a dude, throw the coin, and then drop him. That's what you had to do. And I tried to take the different parkour because there's the little red square where you have to go to throw the coin at the right place. And I tried to go at another place where I could throw the coin. And I did that, and I went right behind the dude, same distance as if I was on the red square, and it wouldn't let me take him down because I was not at the right spot. So it's completely scripted, and even if you try to do something else, it doesn't work. You have to follow the script. And I feel like this is like a different way to do quick time events in a way. It's just worthless gameplay, if that makes sense.
That part was bland.
It was.
To me.
And again, it's something minor, so it's not a big deal, but it's still something that they could improve upon. And it's such a good game that we have to bring those little things up.
But otherwise, the rest of the gameplay to me was flawless. It was so much fun returning to this style of gameplay after Yakuza Like a Dragon. Because, playing Yakuza 0 through 6, the battle system kind of gets stale, especially if you marathon it like I did back in the day.
Thing. Yeah.
So it's like,
Like
a Dragon was a breath of fresh air, but Lost Judgment was almost like coming home in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was so smooth too, man. The Dragon engine.
Yeah.
We both played it on PS5. We can't speak to how the PS4 version works, but it's so buttery smooth. It's just,
as you mentioned, it's the perfect transition from Yakuza Like a Dragon to Lost Judgment. Like when we played Yakuza 6 and we jumped into Judgment, cool little game. They're trying something different with the story and all that stuff, but it's not different enough. But now that we played Like a Dragon, I feel like I've enjoyed Lost Judgment even more after Like a Dragon. And
now they're taking it away from us.
We don't know, man. We don't know. I still have hope. I don't want to see those characters go, man. I mean, if you have to kill that may be controversial. You guys get ready. If you have to kill Yagami and put someone else in the fray, but keep the side characters like Kaito and stuff, I'd be fine with that, to be honest. And I like Yagami.
Became the main character.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he can. Yeah, for real. Are they trying? Is that what they're trying with the Kaito files next year? Maybe.
I don't know. I think it was too late. Obviously, we don't know how game development works, or what kind of time frame that. Because around the time Lost Judgment was announced and everything, they formally revealed it. Sega was going on about multi-platform releases and everything. Wanted to get that out. They were starting that initiative as well. So I don't know if they knew that they wanted to go to Steam, and now Yagami's voice actor, or his actor, not just voice actor, his actual actor, is like, nah, his talent agency doesn't want anything to do with that and everything. I don't know if they knew, so maybe they couldn't make those changes in time to kill off Yagami, because I just hate to see it end right here.
Yeah.
Because Lost Judgment was such a step up. I think they could go even further with a third Judgment title. If they continue the Judgment series without Yagami, that's one thing, but I think that's what the new IP's for, so they can step away from Judgment.
Yeah, and I agree. And the most important thing to mention is, if they really go with something else, if they really go with something completely different, I fully trust them. I trust them 100%. I know they're going to do something great.
Even without Nagoshi.
Totally.
Because he's out of the picture now.
Yeah, I mean, people are putting too much into directors. They do an important job, but they don't make a series. I've heard on certain podcasts say Yakuza's dead when Nagoshi left. I was like,
Nah.
What? You're serious? No. It's starting to be such a big IP. It's going nowhere. And I think it's interesting.
And honestly, I don't see them going without his input at least every now and then. Because since he created the series and everything, I would think that they would want his input every now and then. He doesn't have to be a director to give input on games. That's just my opinion.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard something like Nagoshi's not going to be working for Sega. We know that already. He left for another Chinese dev, but I don't remember who it was exactly.
Mobile games, I think.
Okay.
Or something
like
mobile,
that. Yeah, mobile game dev, so that's why I don't really know him. But I think he's still available for freelance work, and I think he said in an interview or something that he was still going to be consulted for certain Sega products.
That might be true.
This is the same thing that is happening with Shoji Meguro at Atlus.
Right.
He left Atlus,
I was about to say.
Still going to do freelance work with Atlus. So I think it's going to be the same thing. Same thing as Masahiro Sakurai with Nintendo. He's a Nintendo employee, still working with them. I think that's what's going to happen.
I don't see Nagoshi being completely out of the picture whatsoever.
Me neither. Joseph Nagoshi's he was involved with Last Judgment. And he was creative director.
Yes, so he still had a big say. That was just his last big project.
That was his last big project. Yeah, exactly.
Which is a shame. Now, whether or not he's had his hands in Yakuza 8, we don't know.
It's hard to tell. But then
it's hard to tell because the game has been in development
for years, man. At this point, think about it. When did Yakuza 7 released in Japan?
I know it released here last year, and it released like January of last year.
I think it was
in Japan.
Oh, I think it was early 2019. Let me check. It's been a really long time.
I could have sworn January or February of 2020.
Maybe. Yeah, you're exactly right. Beginning of January 2020 in Japan. Okay. So it's been like when a game releases, they immediately start working on the next thing. It's just like game consoles. When you have a new PS5 in your hands, they're already thinking about the PS6 or the PS5 Pro or something like that. So that's the same thing with those massive IPs that we're getting all the time, like a Yakuza. So they've been working on the game for 2 years in just a month. So, man, we're seeing Yakuza 8 soon, man. We're seeing it soon. And that's exciting.
Not the Game Awards, though.
Not the Game
Definitely
Awards.
not.
But let's not talk about the Game Awards. I don't want to do any promo for them. Now, Lost Judgment. I want to hear your thoughts on the music, because I think this is something that they improved upon in every single aspect from the first game. I think the soundtrack is freaking fantastic.
Man, the opening song. It was literally on my Spotify does the thing every year where it gets your most played songs in the playlist. The opening for Lost Judgment, it just released the other month.
Yeah.
It was in my top 10.
That was this
it's
song.
So
awesome.
good.
It's really good. Yeah, the music, the dance club tracks as well, Let's Dance and stuff. That's awesome. Those tracks are great. So yeah,
I love how Yagami just became a professional dancer.
Oh my god, he's so totally professional too. It's insane.
I know kung fu skills.
Yeah, I know kung fu. I've never danced in my life, and he's like, oh, let's go, and he's twisting around and shit. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? He's on some Yu Narukami shit right there. It's really cool. I mean, I really felt like the tracks were super fitting. They clearly, I don't know if it's the same composer as Like a Dragon, but I would bet money on it being the same composer or her. I think it's a woman composer for Yakuza recently, I think. Don't quote me on that. But it was great. And dude, some of the final boss tracks, again, this is a spoilers podcast, so I'm just dropping it. The Soma fight at the end, RK Gang leader, public security agent. He has such a team. Dude, oh, see? I have Kiryu Kazuma in the chat backing me. Dude, Soma's team was insane. When the battle started, I was like, oh! And I was just running around, just listening to the music. I was like, man, this is crazy. They're going hard with the boss teams. And I remember in Like a Dragon, you had just some early bosses. Mabuchi, his theme in Like a Dragon, oh my god, when that came up the first time.
He beats Majima's theme and
Majima's theme, oh my lord. But I think Mabuchi's the one that really, really slapped. I think. But man, just
the music for the Yakuza series has always been good.
It
hasn't been bland. I mean, there's always memorable tracks.
Totally. Even the ambient
Even when
songs
there's
are
not
great.
karaoke in the Judgment series.
Yeah, for real.
When people think of Yakuza and music, they think of
Karaoke.
Bakamitai
Yep.
and stuff like that. Lost Judgment, I think of obviously the opening track, but like you said, all the boss battle themes are so well done. It
Yeah.
really gives you the sense of you're about to kick someone's ass. It gets
Oh,
you
yeah.
pumped up. It hits all the right notes.
Dude, you just start and then you're like surrounded. I think it was that was when you meet Kuwana in front of Sawa Sensei's apartment. And like all the arcade goons, they jump you, and like it's straight silence. There's like literally no music, and then I don't think there's dialogue, or if there's one, it's super minor with Akutsu, and then he just reaches for Yagami, and the beat starts, and it's like, oh my god, like the impact from pure total silence with voice acting to like the freaking hypest song of the year. It's like, man, now they're doing a super good job. Again, this is a super minor complaint, but I do wish the ambient teams were a little more memorable. And that is also a comment that I would give to just the Yakuza series in general. I feel like they have some really high highs, like with the important teams, like as we mentioned, final battle teams, and some of the iconic tracks as well from karaoke and I'm drawing a blank. What's her name? Haruka songs in Yakuza 5 and stuff. So
yes. I love Haruka sections. I am a simp for
Yes.
Haruka's story in Yakuza 5. If you don't like it, fuck off.
No, as I mentioned, it's not bad. It drags on. That's all.
No, it does not. I don't think we got enough of it.
Okay, let's keep going because not enough, bro. The game's
No,
like 40 hours long.
Haruka could have her own sub-series of games where it's just her own dancing games, and I'd love it 1,000%. I think Haruka's a great character.
She is. Great character development. She's like the complete opposite is like Haru from Persona 5. She has some good character
You shut the
development.
fuck up right now. Don't. Man.
Let's not get into this. Man, just great overall. The graphics are exactly the same as Judgment on PS5, so not an improvement, not a downgrade, in my opinion.
No, here's the thing. I did experience Judgment on PS5, so going into Lost Judgment, I mean, I own the game, obviously, on PS5. I just haven't gotten around to playing it. But going into Lost Judgment, man, the city's
really
so
good.
beautiful. The Dragon engine is so fucking good. Now, I will ask you, you know, Lost Judgment was kind of like a, you had different worlds and everything, but you didn't spend a lot of time in Kamurocho.
And I
don't remember.
That's a good thing, man. I like the fact that you like move from Hichincho to Kamurocho on multiple occasions. I really like that. And just one little thing that I want to mention for every time that if you guys follow us for a couple months, a couple of years, you're going to see that I will always bring this up. I really, really appreciate small touches, small differences in the cities that we all know and love, like Kamurocho. When you go back from like Yakuza Kiwami to like Yakuza 6, there's same city, so many differences. And it's really great. I like that. And it's the same
Some
thing
things stay the same, some things definitely don't.
Yep, and some things change for a reason, some things don't. And it's great to see. There was this one content creator in the Yakuza community. He makes videos. It's like Serena throughout the games, for example. And then you see Serena and how it looks and where it's located, if it's accessible or not in all the games. His content's really great. If you guys find his content, or if someone in the chat knows who I'm talking about, please drop his name. I'm gonna read it, give him a small shout out, even if we're smaller, way smaller than him. But I enjoyed that content. It's just great to see the differences from a game to another.
Now, I will ask, there was a new gameplay addition to Lost Judgment as well. Skateboarding around, you know, the city, Ichincho, Kamurocho. What did you think about the skateboarding? Did you find yourself doing that a lot, or did you do a lot of fast travel?
No, I did a lot of it.
Me too.
Simply because I wanted to do a lot of fights. So I rarely use fast travel in those games. Just grind the SP, you know. And I enjoyed the skateboard. I thought it was fun, addictive to like do little tricks on the little gates around town. And no, it's cool. I liked it. Small addition, but I think it works. And it's a simple thing that made exploration more fun, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely. Now, I know you could get like points around the city for like skating, and you can earn these like coins that you could do to upgrade your skateboard. I didn't do a lot of that personally. I just liked riding around the skateboard, like trolling some random Yakuza in the streets, and like they're chasing you. And I just get on my skateboard and go,
Yeah.
bye, motherfuckers.
Did you notice one issue with that? The gang members, the Yakuzas, traveling around Kamurocho, when they see you on the skateboard, they don't see you. They don't go after you when you're on the skateboard.
Yeah.
It's like you need to bump into them for them to be like, hey, who the fuck's this dude? So if you just roll around like super slowly, they don't even look at you. Well, if you're walking, they're gonna scream and run after you. So I thought that was funny. Not a big deal, but I think no one noticed, or at least no one thought this was an issue. Not really an issue. It just felt a little weird and unrealistic.
Now, I will ask, you get to play as a certain character in Lost Judgment like you did in the original Yakuza as well. And you know exactly who we're talking about. So, what do you think about her part as well?
My favorite part about her part is when you messaged me and you said you wouldn't put out. I think that was pretty cool. I think that was pretty hilarious, but that was unsurprising. Now her parts are great. Sayori, you that's what you meant, right?
Yeah.
Sayori's parts, yeah. I think she's great. I like that she was more involved in the game. Like she has important roles, being Ehara's defense attorney. So I really appreciated that. Her parts where you have to infiltrate. What's the name of the bar? It's Le Rouge or something. I don't remember the name of the bar. I think that's it. Yeah, those parts were great. They were fun. I enjoyed them.
I didn't expect to see Sayori. Sayori. I'm not sure how to exactly pronounce her name. I'm a fucking.
In the game, you say Sayori. Yeah.
I have a fucking southern accent. Sorry, I can't pronounce it.
Dude, I have a French accent. I can't pronounce shit.
And it's really sexy. I want you to talk in my ear with it. Oh my God, you do every night. I didn't expect to see her playable again, so that was a nice touch. It brought me back to the first Judgment game as well. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was just worth mentioning. You get to travel with her in the city and just see what she goes through. And I thought that was a nice touch. And the court cases too, man. Inside the courtrooms, that shit was intense as well. Man, there was just... one thing I know we mentioned it earlier, but I want to point out how dark the story was and how much not that I like dark things, but I thought that going into like dark places, like it starts you off with a body and a murder and everything, and just gets darker from there. The bullying and everything at school. I like that it went places that other games are scared to do.
For real. And honestly, I'd give it points for that. Not take him off. But that's just my opinion, and I know this may be controversial. And the school sections, man, how satisfying was it to see like the bully that little girl, I don't remember her name, and then at the end, like after the end credits, you see him around town helping bullies.
Right.
The initial oh God.
They apologize to her and everything. It's great.
Helping the victims. I said helping the bullies, but they help the victims at the end. It's like even the side characters that you see for 40 minutes total, they have development, and it's really good.
The game deals with so much stuff like suicide and everything because of bullying and stuff. It gets really fucking dark. Really I can see where that can trigger some people. This game can be triggering.
Exactly. And again,
and maybe we're just talking out of our ass here.
But I think it's your if you're a reviewer, you're reviewing the product as is. If the product isn't for you in terms of what you're able to see and hear in a video game, I don't think it deserves to lose points for that, man. I don't think so. Does it make it a lesser product if you're too sensible for those topics? I don't think so, man. It's like someone who, like you, I saw you on Twitter today, said, I'm a pussy, I don't play horror games. And then you review Silent Hill, and you're like, it's too scary, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. I know it's different, but I'm sure you get what I mean.
I will say, victims and everything, I mean, it's hard to be put in that position because I haven't really been in that position in my life before. My heart goes out to whoever has been in that position. But you shouldn't take points off of a game because it's just, I mean, it still tells the story very well. I know we might be talking out of our ass. I apologize to if we might offend everybody, but that's not our goal at all. We're just saying that Lost Judgment has a great narrative.
Totally, and I respect the opinions of the reviewers who had issues with that. It's fine. It's my personal opinion, and I don't mean any harm, as you just mentioned. But in my opinion, the game doesn't deserve to lose points because it tackles such subjects.
No, just because it look at I know you haven't played Danganronpa Ultra Despair Girls. That's probably the darkest subject I've ever seen tackled in a video game before, and didn't lose points to me. I mean, it might be because I haven't been a part of that right there, but it's a very serious subject. So much so that I don't think Nintendo wants it on their own console, and that's why you don't see Ultra Despair Girls on Switch right now.
You think so? Mm-hmm. Ooh, interesting. But a game like Doki Doki's on the system.
You're right.
GTA San Andreas with hot coffee mods on there as well. Well, it's semi on there. Half of the games there. Half of the working games there as well.
Maybe they should have put a trigger warning before the game. Japan's a very different culture than us. It does tackle a lot of dark subjects. So if you aren't into that thing, don't play the game.
Oh yeah, 100. Yeah, don't.
We don't want to force it. Just because we enjoyed it doesn't mean the next person will.
Some rough moments, man. At times I was like, man, when that girl at the beginning, like that I was talking about, the one she's getting bullied, man, when she like stood up to them at some point, I was getting some small tears, man. I was like, this is beautiful. This is so sad that this is like common real life issues. I don't want to get into this, but man, I maybe felt some emotions, and I think it's, to me, that's a good thing. I appreciated that, and that proves that the game is well written. And
it was very bold to take those chances and everything.
Yeah, they went all in. They were ballsy, that's for sure. Really were.
They knew that they were going to face some controversy.
Absolutely.
But it told a very good story, and that's what I appreciate. That's why it wins my best narrative of the year.
Me too, man. Easily. It's not your game of the year. It's not mine either.
If Shin Megami Tensei 5 wasn't a thing, it would probably be my game of the year.
What would it need to be better, to be higher on your list of games of the year? What would it need versus SMT5 to be a more enjoyable game? What's the
I just prefer turn-based combat now.
That's what I was about to say.
I prefer that now.
And I don't want Lost Judgment to go turn-based. Not at all. I really, really don't want that. Because it's different than the main line of games, and they're going to still be turn-based games. So I really don't want that. But what we're saying is the gameplay, the actual combat, isn't fun enough for me.
Not as engaging to me.
No, and it's not why I'm playing the Yakuza games. Well, the previous games before Like a Dragon. If it really isn't. I did tell you before, if they drop the gameplay in the Yakuza games, if they drop the combat for something else that is very simple, anything, an RTS, a strategy combat system, a turn-based combat system, anything, I'd still play the games because I'm going into those games for the side content, the stories, and the freaking insanely written characters.
Right.
So that the combat to me is such a side thing. I play all the Yakuza games on easy, man, all the time.
Right.
All the time, because I wanted to platinum them, but I'm doing everything but the one trophy where I have to beat on hard mode because I don't have fun with it. I don't have fun learning the little techniques and stuff. I'm enjoying the rest of the content.
At its core, Yakuza is very much a fighting game. I mean, I'm not saying in the terms of like Blaze Blue, but it's a punch. I wouldn't say hack and slash, but it's close to that in a way because it's just a button masher sometimes. Because even during like when I was going through Yakuza 0 and 6, I was just like, all right, square, 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 triangle, square, 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 triangle, triangle, square, triangle, grab them. Heat move, boom, we're done.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're going into these games not for the combat And I think that's why it falls short of SMT5. And, oh, you're Atlas content creators. So of course you're not going to... Listen, if it wasn't for SMT5's amazing combat, because I can tell you this, Lost Judgment has a better story than SMT5. SMT5 wishes it could have that kind of story.
Wishes it could stand up to its knees.
Yes.
It's not even close.
But instead, it's sucking it off.
It's totally. Yeah, totally.
Like, Lost Judgment, nothing holds a candle to Lost Judgment's story this year.
Nothing.
And if it wasn't for that, I mean, if the combat was better, more engaging for me, like a Dragon was, that's why I consider Like a Dragon my game of the year 2020. It hit all the right notes for me. I'm not saying turning into a turn-based game. I just want to be more engaged.
Yeah. Hear me out. If it had the side content that Vanilla Judgment had, the first game, and it had Yakuza Like a Dragon's combat system with small improvements, it'd be my game of the year. It would be. 100%.
It's a beat 'em up. It's a beat 'em up. Kiru-chan in the chat cleared that up for us. That's what I was looking for.
Exactly. That's what we were looking for. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but I think we're on the same wavelength here, David. If it, 1000%. It could easily be my game of the year.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, SMT5 just had a little more for us.
I got something interesting to bring up, and that's because of Prestige's Gaming Studio in the chat. He asked the rating for the games. Well, Lost Judgment has an 82 on Metacritic. Do you know what Judgment has?
Probably like a 73.
Wow, that's low, man. No, it's at 80.
Really?
Yeah. I was
because I don't remember a lot of people talking about it when it first came out.
Bro, it's good.
No, I'm not saying it's not good. That's not what I'm saying at all. I love the original Judgment.
I prefer this one. I prefer the yeah, I think I prefer the original one, man. Even if I prefer the story in this one, it's just the sub content, man. The side content isn't as good. It really isn't. You can't even romance the girls. That's DLC now.
No, there is one romance route that you could take in Lost Judgment.
Okay, I completely missed it. But like in the first one, there was a lot of girls. You were a real Chad.
There was one romance route. No, I will say, in DLC and everything, there was a boxing mini game. I don't know if you played it or not.
Did you?
But there is a special fighting style that is hid behind DLC, and it's that boxing style that you use in the mini games. I tried it because I bought the DLC.
Okay.
And I did not find it fun at all.
You didn't?
I thought it was a waste of money. I should have just spent money on the Kaito files and called it a day.
I'm buying that 100% that's for sure. But I figured, I remember when we talked about it initially, we were like, man, they locked the fighting style behind a paywall. That's shitty. And it is, because that's day one content. But looking back on it, it's not a bummer, because I found myself using 2 fighting styles out of the 4s. Like, I don't need a 5th one. Far from it. So I was happy. It's the same thing with SMT5. A lot of people were saying, are you happy with the DLC practice and stuff? I'm like, I'm never going to support day one DLC, so I'm always going to say no. But at the same time, if you buy it like I did, because people were calling me a hypocrite, I was like, I felt like, yeah, it's a day one DLC. I don't appreciate the procedure, but at the same time, I felt like I got more than enough for my money, for my $60. So I felt comfortable paying $10 additional for more, because I was already happy with 60. If I paid like 50 for Nocturne HD and you want to sell Dante for 60, well, I felt like I didn't get my money's worth for 50s, and you want me to pay more for content that you locked from me, then it's an issue. But it's just my opinion on this one.
No, I completely agree. The boxing, that extra fighting style, to me, it's just not worth it. I know that's not the only thing you get in that pack, but at the same time, it's just not worth it. I could care less about that, some cosmetic stuff. At the end of the day, I just want to see Kaito.
Oh, me too, man. I want more Kaito. Can't go wrong with more Kaito. That's going to be great. I can't wait for that DLC. We'll talk about that on the channel. Huh?
Definitely. We will cover that 1000% because we're both hyped about more Kaito.
Yes, 100%. Any final thoughts on Lost Judgment? I think we covered a good part of what we wanted to say.
This is just me, but in the style of Kamurocho Bros and drinking Kamurocho, I think we should give it a rating, but it shouldn't be just like a star rating. It should be out of 5 sake bottles.
Yeah.
What would you give Lost Judgments?
I'd give it 4 sake bottles out of 5. That's like an 80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
80%.
I'd give it an 80.
It's 5 for me.
Oh,
it's
really?
a 5 sake bottles out of 5. It just hit all the right notes for me. It came out at the perfect
Nice.
time. It's the minor nitpicks I have.
Came out at the worst possible time for me.
It came out. Well, I kind of had a rush to get it, to get through it. But then again, I don't do a lot of side content. I'm here for the main story.
Exactly.
Now, if there's a dancing game involved, a dancing mini game, if there's rhythm games involved, I'm going to do it. But I mean, it hit all the right notes to me. I think it's such an improvement on the first game that it deserves a 5 sake bottles. So let's meet in the middle. So the Kamurocho Bros give it a 4 out of 5, 4.5 sake bottles out of 5.
Let's do that. Yes, sir.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks.
Totally. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share with our viewers? If not, I want to give them a little insight on what's next for Kamurocho Bros.
I hope this is not the end of the Judgment series.
Thanks.
Because it's just, to me, it was the perfect sequel. It was a fantastic game, and unfortunately, it got overshadowed by some other games that were coming out at the time. I know Sega wanted it to be a big release. We don't know sales figures, obviously, yet. I don't know how it did.
Yeah.
If it was me, yeah, but I don't want the Judgment series to end. If it does, I hope the next whatever they do for their new IP is great, and I hope Yakuza 8's great. But I hope we get to review Judgment 3 in the future.
For real. That'd be really, really cool. Well, I agree with everything that you mentioned, and I'm looking forward to what they have this next. Again, if they go the route of a new RGG IP, like what I talked about in the previous episode, I'm fine with that. But if they keep going with Judgment in whatever method, whether it's to dispose of Yagami and get something new on board or focus on Kaito like what we wished for,
listen,
I'm here for it.
The dream would be to have 3 IPs, Yakuza, Judgment, and their new IP going at the exact same time. Because honestly, I cannot get enough RGG.
Yeah, me neither. But if they go that route, they have to make sure the new IP is a lot more different than both Judgment and Yakuza, I think.
But to me, them revealing a new IP pretty much tells me that Judgment's dead.
Judgment's dead. I agree. Because Judgment's... it's super young. So I fully agree with that one. Alright, so that's what we had to say in terms of Lost Judgment and our impressions. Before we wrap things up, we talked a little bit before the show about what we wanted to do next for Kamurocho Bros, and we have a lot of projects that we revealed before. We still want to do a little funny thing about the Yakuza movie, the live action movie. We still want to do that. It's still happening. We'll make sure that we're drunk when we do that episode.
So we do a drinking game for that
yes,
as well.
So yes, 100%. So that's going to be really, really fun. We wanted to do Dead Souls content, but there's still some things we have to figure out with this one before it becomes a reality.
Well, we originally said we wanted to do Dead Souls for October since it was Spooky Month. But, I mean, we kind of got review codes for SMT5 during October. Yeah. So shit kind of happened.
It did. It really did. So, but we'll see if it's still gonna happen. There's this copyright issues with this game that may cause us.
Oh, dude, problems. Yeah. I know a fellow friend of mine. Trash King and Trash Queen. They streamed the game and they got a bunch of copyright strikes for some ungodly reason. For Yakuza Dead Souls.
Oh, damn, yeah. If it strikes, we're out, man. If it was claim, I'm like, I'm good. We're just not going to get monetized on those. But if it strikes, nah, fuck that. But we'll see. We have other projects. I know we did talk. We got a suggestion from a viewer. I think it was Coogan last episode that we should do tier lists. So that's something we want to do in our official Kamurocho Bros Yakuza tier list. That's happening 100%. We're going to do that. And yeah. Lots of cool content in the works. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are as well.
It's an exciting time to be an RGG Studios fan. Really there's so much happening right now. Even if there's... we've all played Lost Judgment now. If you're watching this by now, I hope you've completed it because we just spoiled the whole fucking thing for you. But we forgot to talk about Sawa Sensei's feet, which I'm kind of disappointed.
I brought them up.
I mean, she could have cheese between her toes and I'd eat it like a mouse. But anyways, I'm just saying it's a great time to be an RGG Studios fan because they got so much in the works. We're totally being spoiled right now with Yakuza stuff. It's just a good time to be a fan, and especially not to say them streaming Kenzin means anything, but I mean that could be a possible salute. That could be a possible project for them as well. So it's such a fun time, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Kamurocho Bros does in the future because we got a lot of fun stuff playing. That's what the channel's about. Fun. We got enough serious shit going in our lives right now. Yakuza's to us is about having fun, having a good time, popping a drink, and having some laughs. That's what Kamurocho Bros to me is.
Totally. That was a great way to end the stream, man. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. It was fun. It was fun to talk Lost Judgment. As you mentioned, lots of cool things are coming, and we'll be there to cover them. So I hope you guys look forward to the content. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, before you leave, just a quick thumbs up. Again, it really helps. We're small, we're growing, and we appreciate every single action.
You might be small, but all the girls say I'm not.
So thank you all for watching. Have a good one. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.